We are so pleased to welcome back on set Tom O'Brien, who's the Plymouth County Treasurer. We have this segment called Treasury Notes with Tom O'Brien. So let's go right into it. I have a question for you. The stock market has been going boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. How does that affect everybody? What should we be worried about? Should we not be worried about it? Take it away.
Well, first of all, I love the sound effects of the stock market. Can you do that again? We should probably have that. When people check the stock market, they get Julie's sound effects. And obviously it impacts people, and people are concerned about it, and they should be. It's been a volatile time in the stock market, certainly since the beginning of the year. However, let's take a step back. Let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
Let's recognize that for the last 5 to 6 years, we've had the largest growth and expansion in the stock market that we've seen, certainly in our lifetime.
Right.
It's been one of the best periods of time to invest in our history. And a lot of professionals have believed that the stock market has become overvalued, that you can't continue to go up all the time.
Right.
At some point in time, the stock market, which is cyclical, needs to go down. And I think we're seeing that correction now. I think a lot of folks that invest regularly in the stock market feel that it's time for a correction. They don't want it to happen quickly.
Define what a correction means. We hear that all the time, but I don't think a lot of people really know, what does that mean?
Sure. I think the easiest way to think about it is, as you're investing in a stock and it keeps going up, the value of that company sometimes isn't going up as well as the price is going up. So if the price so a stock gets overvalued.
Okay.
So a company is worth, let's say, $10 a share, but people are trading it at $15 a share. That's an overvalued stock.
Okay.
The correction would be a decrease in that stock value back to the $10 a share.
To what it's actually worth.
To what it's worth.
Okay.
And we've seen times where the stock market gets hot, if you will, and investors get excited about a particular segment. Think back to the dot-com bubble.
Yes.
And people were investing in all kinds of technology, and all of a sudden they realized that the stocks that they were investing in weren't worth the price that they were paying for it.
Right.
So the market had a correction and brought it back to what stocks were really worth.
Okay.
So given the fact that we've had 5 to 6 years of just steady increases in the stock market, unprecedented increases, there needs to come a period of time that slows down and reverses, and the trend goes back.
Right.
So here's a couple things. First of all, the stock market is cyclical.
Yeah.
So it will go down and it will go up.
Yeah.
What I try to tell people is remain calm, invest steadily and regularly, go through those ups and those downs, and plan long-term for retirement. My role as the Plymouth County Treasurer and the Chairman of the Plymouth County Retirement Board is to invest long-term.
Sure.
And so I have a luxury of looking out 20, 30, 50, 80, 100 years. And I recognize that the stock market, investment opportunities over that long period of time are going to perform better than if I put my money under the mattress.
Absolutely.
So the trick is to recognize that it's still a good idea to invest in fixed income and in equities, even during a volatile stock market, because you need to have that money set aside in savings so that you have an opportunity to retire.
Okay. Let's talk about defined benefit plans or pension plans and defined contribution plans, which are more like 401ks.
Right.
What is, people don't understand, at least I'm people, I don't understand really this either. You deal with public sector employees' monies.
Correct.
So that is a defined contribution.
Defined benefit plan.
So explain the difference between those.
Sure, absolutely. So a defined benefit plan, and the easiest way to think about it, is a plan that no matter how much money you put in, you get a benefit at the point you decide to retire and begin to take money out.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you have to have a length of service and you have to be age appropriate.
Yep.
You can't retire at age 40 with 10 years of service. I know, people wish that they could.
Right.
You have to hit certain age limits and age objectives before you can do that. But regardless of the amount of money, your benefit remains the same for the rest of your life.
Okay.
That is a defined benefit plan. That's what we manage for public sector employees. And I want to talk about that because most people don't know that here in Massachusetts, in most instances, employees are contributing more than they need to contribute to cover the cost of that defined benefit plan for the rest of their lives.
Oh, okay.
We contribute 11% of our salary, 9 plus 2 of our salary, to our own pension.
These are public sector employees.
These are public sector employees here in Massachusetts. In other parts of the country, they don't contribute as much. And in fact, one of the fascinating things, if you remember Detroit and their pension system suffered some bankruptcy.
Yep.
They were a non-contributory system.
Yep.
So their employees weren't contributing anything. But
right.
here in Massachusetts, you have to contribute 9% of your entire salary and 2% of any salary over $30,000.
Okay.
That's more than enough to cover that
Okay.
plan.
And based on that, with the 11% that you're putting into this defined benefit plan, if you live to be 70 or 110, you're going to get the same benefit until the day you die.
That's correct.
Okay. Whereas the contribution plan or the
Defined contribution plan
or the 401k or whatever.
A 401k is a sample of an example of a defined contribution plan.
How is that different?
So in that instance, what you're doing is putting money aside
Yep.
during your working years,
Yep.
however much you can. And by the way, if your company has a match,
Yeah.
match to the maximum.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
otherwise you're leaving money on the
It's
table.
free money, yep.
Well, no money's free,
Right,
but you
but
don't
no.
want to leave it on the table. And so whatever you build up as equity in that investment vehicle
Yeah.
is what you get as the benefit when you retire.
Right.
No more, no
Right.
less.
It's a fixed amount.
It's a fixed amount, not a fixed benefit.
Right.
And so if it's a lot of dollars and it can go for a period of time, that's
Yeah.
great. If it's not as many dollars as one needs to retire, it creates a bit of a problem. And that's why clearly the benefit of having a defined benefit plan
Is better.
outweighs the defined contribution plan.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
It takes the worry off the table. And as I tell our retirees that are members of our system, the Plymouth County Retirement System,
Mm-hmm.
which I'd love to talk about in a little bit too, you don't have to worry what happened to the stock market.
Yeah.
The only one that has to worry about that is me.
Is you, right,
That's why I'm losing all my hair.
Right.
I am the one that has to worry about what happens.
Yeah.
You're going to get your benefit
Yeah.
regardless of what happens to the stock market.
But the public sector employees get the advantage of this.
That's correct.
Can private sector employees get the same type of deal?
In the 40s and 50s and in the 60s, certain corporations offered defined benefit plans.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question was they used to be able to.
Okay.
However, the private sector, I don't think planned as well as the public sector did. It became a cost to them,
Mm-hmm.
and in the cost-saving measures that a lot of corporations went through in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they eliminated those plans.
Okay.
I hear horror stories about people that thought they had a defined benefit plan with their company that they worked for 50
Right.
years, only to find out they
But
didn't.
they didn't. So when they retire, they have a lump sum, and then you have to figure out, okay, how much should I take each year because I might live 10 years, but I might live 30 years.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so-
that's a worry.
Yeah.
However, I will tell you there is legislation at the federal level called Secure Choice Pensions,
Yep.
which is designed to offer a defined benefit option into the private sector.
Okay.
The challenge with doing that is portability. It's because people will shift employers, and so how
Yeah.
do you
Right.
keep that money going
Yeah.
with you? And that's addressed in this legislation. So I'm a big advocate of the Secure Choice
Yeah.
Pension option at the federal level. I'm hoping that it gains some traction. We have a lot of support here in Massachusetts,
Okay.
and we really need to work on that piece of legislation.
Okay, lots of stuff. 8 minutes went like that. We're all done.
And we didn't even get to talk about our performance this past year, so
we
we'll
will
have to do that next time.
Next time you're here. So thank you so much, Tom O'Brien.
Of course, my
It was
pleasure.
wonderful to have you.
Great to be here.